Good morning, everybody. Happy Saturday. We're going to be doing a core-based yoga class today. So it's going to be mostly working on building strength and stability in our entire core region. It's not just abs, it's back as well. So we're probably going to sweat a little bit. So you should have a towel nearby, some water. You may need some pillows as some props. Let me just find. I'm going to disconnect. I need to make sure I disconnect my Wi-Fi from my phone. 1 second. Huh. 1 second, everybody. Okay, hopefully the connection is okay today. I was trying to look for my phone so that I could disconnect the Wi-Fi, but I can't find my phone anywhere. So for the sake of time, we're just going to skip that part. But I need it to tell time. Okay, 1 second. Okay, I found my phone. It's in my robe hanging up in the bathroom. Anyway, so again, we're going to be doing a core-based workout today. Hopefully you have a little bit more than 60 minutes today to practice since it's Saturday. We might run over a little bit just because we're getting started a little bit later, and I hate being constrained to 60 minutes. So again, we're going to be doing a core-based workout or core-based yoga class. So we'll be in various forms of plank pose. So we're going to warm up our wrists. We're going to warm up our whole body essentially to get prepared for this core class. So we're going to get started in child's pose. So child's pose is when you're on your hands and knees, and then your shoulders are right over your knees to start, or shoulders are right over your wrists to start, hips are over the knees. Take your knees wider than your hips, and then take the toes of the feet together and sit back onto the heels, and then start to walk the hands out in front of you, resting the forehead either on a mat or on a pillow if your forehead does not reach. So in child's pose, we want to sink our hips as low or as close to our heels as possible. And the way that we can aid in doing that is pressing into the palms and like pressing your heels or pressing your hips back using the pressure of your palms. So pressing out of the palms of the hands, getting a little bit lighter in the wrists so that you can sink back closer to your heels. And then go ahead and just rest the forearms on the mat. So this is more of a passive child's pose. And just take a moment to start to notice your breath, notice your body and how it feels this morning. Whether there's anything in particular that is feeling a little bit tight or sore. Maybe you have an injury that you're dealing with. And just making a mental note of those things throughout the class so that while you're in these postures and while you're doing this flow, you can make mental notes of how those sorts of things are feeling, how those parts of your body are feeling. And if there's any point in class where
you cross a line between being uncomfortable and being in pain, I encourage you to back out and release any posture that you're in to avoid that pain. So with yoga, there's oftentimes we find ourselves in these really challenging, uncomfortable positions, but there's always that line that you cross between getting challenged and sitting in discomfort and then crossing a line of pain. And if you feel pain, and that's not, you shouldn't feel pain. That's not what the purpose of this practice is. It's to challenge our bodies and to challenge our minds to sit with some discomfort, some temporary discomfort. And what that allows us to do is, when we're off the mat, we take that same principle in our everyday life. So when we're sitting in discomfort, we can breathe through it. We can overcome it. We practice this thing of yoga in order to come out of our mat, come off of the mat, and live our life with a little bit of a stronger, clearer mind, an ability to make decisions without overreacting, without reacting with emotion, and making some more sound decisions in our lives. Start to deepen your breath so that each time you inhale, you feel the back rib cage start to rise and expand to the sides of the rib as well. And then with each exhale, the back body falls and you sink a little bit deeper into the child's pose. Take 3 more deep breaths here. Expanding through the rib cage, through the belly, through the back, and falling deeper into the pose as you exhale. Last breath here. And then as you exhale, start to rise up into tabletop position, coming up on hands and knees. So our shoulders want to be stacked directly over our palms, and our hips are directly over our knees. And we want to have as neutral of a spine as possible. So rather than just sinking into the belly, we want to pull the belly tight so that we have a long, flat spine. And so tabletop position is sort of this neutral position, a starting point for a lot of poses. So we're going to move through a few spinal warm-ups as well. So on your inhale breath, I want you to drop your belly, lift your tailbone up towards the ceiling, and start to pull your chest through your shoulders, broaden at the collarbone, and then look up. Tip your chin up towards the ceiling. And then as you exhale, take your tailbone down towards your heels, pull your belly towards your spine, press into the hands to puff the upper back up, and then take your chin towards your chest. Inhale, drop your belly low, lift your tailbone, lift your chin, pull your chest through your shoulders and broaden at the collarbones. And then exhale, take the tailbone down towards your heels, puff the upper back up, take your chin into your chest. Round in the upper back. Just a few more rounds of these with your own breath. So inhaling into this cow variation. Belly is, chin is lifted, tailbone is lifted, and then as you exhale, round and curl. This is just a way to gently warm up the spine, and it's important to be able to breathe with each movement. So exhaling as you round and curl, and then inhaling into cow. Take one more round of this. And then we'll return to a neutral pelvis back in the tabletop position. On your inhale breath, start to reach your right arm up towards the ceiling. Roll the wrists, make circles with the wrists to just warm up the wrist for a moment. Take another inhale breath. And then start to thread that right arm underneath your left armpit across the mat towards the left side of your mat, dropping your right shoulder all the way down to the mat and your right ear. So your right ear is rested and your right shoulder is rested. Your right arm is straight out towards the side. Start to walk that left hand next to up to the front of your mat so that your bicep is in line with your ears. Maybe you slide your knees back so that they're in line with your hip once again. So this is thread the needle pose. For those who practice more frequently, an option here to wrap that left arm behind you and take a bind, hooking your hands on the inner thigh or on the top of your right thigh. So that's an option there. Otherwise, just keep your hand or your left arm extended out in front of you. And then press into the right arm onto the mat to see if you can lift that shoulder or take the left shoulder open a little bit wider. So we're trying our best to turn our shoulders and our collarbone to face the left side of the mat, all while keeping our hips squared with one another. Take one more deep inhale breath here. And then as you exhale, place the left palm right underneath the left elbow, left shoulder. Start to press back up and reach that right arm back up towards the ceiling. Roll the wrist one more time. Take an inhale breath. And then exhale, place the right palm back down. And moving into the other side, start to reach that left arm all the way up to the ceiling, rolling out the wrist. Taking a deep breath here. And then as you exhale, threading it underneath the right arm, dropping the right shoulder down, the left shoulder down, the left ear down. So left ear, left shoulder are flat on the mat. Start to take that right arm all the way up to the front of your mat so that your bicep is in line with your ear. See if you can peel the shoulders open to the right side of the room by pressing into the left arm onto the mat. If you practice this for a while and you want to take the bind with the right arm, I encourage you to do that. Deep breaths here. See if you can find a little bit of a deeper twist each time you inhale and then exhale. Take one more deep breath here. And then as you exhale, take that right palm right underneath the right shoulder. Press up, lift the left arm back up towards the ceiling. And then exhale into tabletop position. We're going to tuck our toes under and then just sit back slightly on our heels. Take your, we're going to warm up the wrists a little bit here as well. So take your palms and turn your hands so that your fingertips are facing the sides of your mat and your wrists are facing one another. And then just start to make circles. We're just warming up the wrists. We're going to be in like plank pose quite a bit. So we definitely want to be able to warm up this part of our body. You can stay here if this is enough for you, or if you'd like, flip the palms completely so that the fingertips are facing your knees. And then just start to pulse back and forth. Breathing deeply through the nose, in and out. And then we're going to take one more variation of this. You can stay here if you want to. If you want to go a little bit further, untuck the back toes, sit back on your knees. And then we're going to flip the palms again so that the tops of our hands are on the mat. Our fingertips are facing our knees and our palms are facing up towards our chest. So it's tops of the hands are down on the mat, palms are facing up, fingertips are facing our knees. And then pulsing back and forth. And then go ahead and just sit back, clasp your hands together and just start to make some circles. Breathing deeply. As you do this, reverse the direction of the circles. And then release. We're coming back into tabletop position. This time, walk your hands a little bit farther out, tuck your back toes under, and then step back into plank pose. So in plank pose, if this is difficult for you, just lower the knees slightly so that you're in a variation of plank, but we're not fully in tabletop. So tabletop would be stacking hips over knees, shoulders over wrists.
In a variation of plank, you have your toes tucked and your knees are down here. So it's more like ready for a push-up. So we're in high plank pose or with our knees down, and we're holding plank for just a moment. Start to pulse back and forth on your toes. So coming back onto the heels and then up onto the tippy toes. Shifting your shoulders back and forth over your wrists. Take your tailbone down towards your heels, pull your low belly towards your spine, and then rather than having your hips high like this, see if you can have your hips in line with one another. Take a deep breath here. And then find a little bit of stillness. We're going to hold for 2 more breaths. Take an inhale breath here. And an exhale out. Inhale 2. And then we're going to exhale. We're going to lower all the way down to our belly. Untuck your back toes. And then take your elbows together. So like rather than letting them splay out open, take them right into your sides. And then press your pubic bone into the mat. Press the tops of your feet into the mat. Start to lift using the strength of your back. Lift your chest off of the mat. Little to no weight in the palms. So this is all in your back. Keep your chin tucked so that your neck is in line. Your ears are in line with your shoulders. Inhale breath. Squeeze the glutes, squeeze the legs. Exhale out. One more breath. And then exhale, release your forehead down to the mat. We're going to place our forearms on the mat in the shape of a number 11. Tuck your back toes under and then lift your hips for forearm plank. Deep breaths in and out through the nose here. Hold for a few more breaths. Same principles apply here. Take the belly towards the spine. Hips are low. One more breath. And then, challenge here, we're going to press back up. Left arm first, and then right arm into plank pose. Take 3 deep breaths here. Inhale through the nose. And exhale out. Inhale through the nose. Exhale out. Last breath, inhale. And then as you exhale, lower the knees, sit back into child's pose. So take those knees wide, sink back into the heels. And then arms come forward, forehead down to the mat or a block. And just stay here for 3 deep breaths, inhaling through the nose and exhaling out. Inhale through the nose and exhale out. One more breath here, inhale. And then as you exhale, return back to tabletop position. Tuck your back toes under. Walk your hands out a little bit further. So it should be more like this. Tuck your back toes under, start to lift your knees, press back into downward facing dog. Make sure that your hands are shoulder width distance apart. Your fingers are spread super wide. And then take your chest back towards your thighs. Take a slight bend into the knees, slight bend to the elbows. Wrap your biceps up towards the ceiling and your triceps down towards the mat. Press out of the hands as much as you possibly can to get a little bit lighter in the wrist and create more space in the spine. So lengthen the spine and lightness in the wrist when you press out of the hands. Deep breaths here in downward facing dog. Maybe if your calves are pretty tight, you can sort of pedal it out here. And again, we want to take our hips high. Our biceps are next to our ears. Belly is pulling towards the spine. Take one more deep breath. And then as you exhale, start to walk your hands forward to the front of your mat. Take your feet hips width distance apart. And then bend into your knees so that you can rest your rib cage on top of your thighs. Grab opposite elbows and then let your head and your neck hang heavy. Maybe you sway side to side. Deep breaths here, in and out the nose. Maybe you practice bending one leg at a time. One more deep breath. And on your next inhale, just rise about halfway up. So hands are on the shins. We have a long, flat spine in this halfway lift. So we're not coming all the way up because it's a little bit difficult to, after a forward fold, go all the way up without your head rushing. So we come up halfway. And then this helps open up the hamstrings and the calves as well. So we're in this halfway lift, then bend into the knees and then start to rise all the way back up to standing. So we're going to move through a few sun salutations, and I'll offer, oh, we don't need to do that yet, but so sun salutations are just a way to warm up the body and get a little heat going. On your inhale breath, reach your arms up towards the ceiling. Take your biceps next to your ears, pull your belly towards your spine, take your tailbone down towards your heels, have a slight bend, micro bend in the knees, and then draw your shoulders out of your ears by pulling your shoulder blades down your back. Palms are facing one another. Take an inhale breath. And then exhale, bow forward or swan dive all the way down to a forward fold. On your inhale breath, come up into that halfway lift, shins or hands on the shins, find a long flat spine, and then exhale, we're folding again. Place your palms on the mat, and we're stepping back into high plank position. So two options here for this sun salutation. You can either stay in high plank, shift your shoulders past your wrists, lower halfway down by keeping your elbows pinned to your sides, never letting your shoulders dip below your elbows, so shoulders are in line with your elbows. Untuck your back toes. We're pulling our chest through, broadening the collarbones, widening at the shoulders for upward facing dog, and then tucking the back toes under, pressing back into downward facing dog. That's option one. If that's extremely difficult for you, we lower the knees from high plank, lower the chest, untuck the toes, lift into that cobra position, then come back into tabletop pose, tuck your back toes under, downward facing dog. So that's the other option that you have there as well. Take an inhale breath. And then as you exhale, walk your feet towards the front of your mat. On your inhale breath, come up halfway, and on the exhale, fold. Inhale, rise all the way back up to standing. The arms come up overhead. And then exhale, hands come down the center of your face in prayer in front of your heart. On the inhale breath, we reach our arms up high. And on the exhale, we fold all the way down, bowing forward or swan diving. On the inhale breath, we come up into that halfway lift. And on the exhale, we fold, planting our hands on the mat, stepping back into high plank, either lowering the knees and chest or lowering halfway into upward facing dog or low cobra. And then exhale, downward facing dog. Deep breaths here through the nose. Take one more deep breath. Inhale. And as you exhale, walk your feet towards the front of your mat. On the inhale breath, we come up halfway. And on the exhale, we fold. Inhale, rise all the way back up to standing. The arms come up overhead next to your ears. And then on the exhale, hands come through center in prayer in front of your heart. Inhale, arms reach up. And exhale, bow forward, forward fold all the way down. Inhale, come up halfway. And then exhale, fold, planting your hands on the mat, stepping back into high plank position, lowering the knees and then to the chest or lowering halfway down, inhaling into cobra or upward facing dog, and then exhale into downward facing dog. Inhale through the nose and exhale out. Inhale through the nose, exhale out. Walk your feet towards the front of the mat. On the inhale breath, we come up halfway. And on the exhale, we fold. Inhale, rise all the way up to standing. Arms come up overhead. And then exhale, hands come through prayer and center in front of your heart. We're going to do that one more time. So inhale, reach the arms overhead. And then exhale, fold all the way down. Inhale, come up halfway. And then exhale, fold, planting the hands, stepping back into high plank position. Either lowering the knees or lowering halfway down or all the way down. Inhale, upward facing or low cobra. And then exhale, downward facing dog. Inhale through the nose. Exhale out. Inhale through the nose. And exhale out. One last breath, inhale. And then exhale, walk your feet towards the front of your mat. Inhale, come up halfway. And then exhale, fold. This time we're going to sit in the chair pose on your inhale breath. So in two options of chair pose with your legs. So you can either have your feet hips width distance apart and sit in the chair this way, or you can have the toes together with the heels slightly apart. So we're sitting in a chair pose, and chair is fully a core workout. It's glutes, it's legs, it's core, but definitely the back body is really engaged here. So in chair pose, we're sitting our hips as low as possible. We are our weight is in our heels so that we can lift our toes off of the mat. Our arms come straight forward, and our collarbones are broadened, and our chest is reaching forward and up. So it's important here to not let the knees go over the toes. And we want to take that dip out of the low back by pulling our belly towards our spine and pulling our rib cage together. And your arm's going to be out wide like a V if your shoulders are pretty tight, and that's definitely a pretty common way to adjust that pose. So I encourage you, if you're having trouble lifting your arms up, take them wide, and that often will help. Take a deep breath here, and then we're exhaling and folding all the way down. On our inhale breath, we're coming into that halfway lift, and then exhale, planting our hands on the mat, stepping back into high plank position, and this time we're going to lower all the way down to our bellies. Untuck your back toes. Take the tops of your hands on the mat next to your thighs. Place your forehead on the mat. Take an inhale breath, and exhale everything out of your mouth. On your inhale breath, you're going to lift everything up off of the mat except the tops of your hands. So this is Shalabhasana. So we're lifting our legs, we're lifting our feet, we're lifting our chest, we're lifting our ribs. Pull your shoulder blades together, broaden at the collarbones, keep your ears in line with your shoulders. And rather than thinking of lifting up, see if you can lift in or extend in opposite direction. So we're extending our toes towards the back of our mat and extending the crown of our head forward. So rather than up, think forward and back. Take one more deep breath here, and then exhale, release. Place your palms at your rib cage, press into tabletop or directly up in the downward facing dog. On your inhale breath, you're going to reach your right leg up towards the ceiling. Keep the heel flexed to start and the hips square. Take an inhale breath. And then as you exhale, take your right knee to your right elbow. And hold here for a breath. Inhale. And exhale. Inhale, take it back into three-legged dog. And then exhale, we're taking our right knee to our left elbow. And then straighten the right leg. Place the outer edge of your right foot onto the floor. Roll onto your left, or drop your left heel down to the mat and reach your left arm up towards the ceiling. This is called falling star. Take an inhale breath. You should feel your right obliques firing up here. Exhale out. See if you can open up your shoulders a little bit wider towards the left side of the room. And then as you exhale, you're going to plant your left hand back down. Take your right knee back towards your chest, and then back into downward facing dog. And then as you exhale, step your right foot forward in between your hands. And then we're coming into a high lunge position. So high lunge is essentially, whew, that's hard work. So we're in high lunge, so our right knee is stacking right over our left ankle. And then our left leg is extended behind us. But see if you can bend into that knee so that you can try to get your pelvis as straight and neutral as possible by taking your tailbone down towards the mat and taking your frontal hip bones up towards your shoulders. Arms come up overhead on your inhale breath. And then as you exhale, we're going to pull our elbows down in line with our shoulders and sort of make this goalpost shape with our arms and lift our chest up towards the ceiling. Take an inhale breath here and an exhale out. Inhale through the nose and then exhale, reach your arms back up towards the ceiling. And then we're going to start to shift all of the weight into our front foot by tipping forward, and then we're going to step up, a little balance here, step up into one-legged mountain pose. So we're going to come into an eagle. So our arms are here up. I want you to cross your right arm underneath your left, like this, and then we're crossing our left leg over the right. You can use your left foot as a kickstand, or if you'd like to take the full wrap, you can wrap your toes around your right calf. And then we're taking our elbows in line with one another like this. And then you can either have the backs of your hands touching, or if you can go for the full wrap the right hand around the left wrist. So our hands look like this, and we're in this eagle position. So a little bit of balance here. Squeeze your thighs together and squeeze your elbows together. Take your elbows in line with your shoulders, pull your low belly towards your spine, and see if you can sit upright at first. Take an inhale breath, and an exhale out. One more breath here, inhale, and then exhale, release. We're just folding all the way forward. Nice work. On your inhale breath, come up into that halfway lift. And then exhale, we're planting our hands on the mat, stepping back into high plank, lowering either all the way down or halfway down, lowering these. Inhale into that low cobra or upward facing dog. And then exhale, downward facing dog. Take a deep breath here. And a deep breath out. Inhale through the nose. And exhale out. Walk your feet towards the front of the mat. Inhale, come up halfway. And then exhale, fold. Take your toes to touch or keep your feet wide. We're sitting into chair pose. So sitting our hips low, pulling your belly towards your spine. Arms come up overhead. Weight is in the heels. There is lightness in the toes. Take an inhale breath. And an exhale out. One more breath, inhale. And then exhale, fold forward. Inhale, come up halfway. And then exhale, plant your hands on the mat. We're stepping back into high plank position and then lowering all the way down to our belly. Untuck the back toes. Take the tops of your hands next to your thighs. Forehead on the mat. Take an inhale breath. And a big exhale. Inhale, lift everything up except your hands and your belly. Shalabhasana. So remember, we want to try to see if we can reach our toes towards the back of the room and the crown of our head forward. So rather than thinking of lifting up, we're thinking of lifting forward and back. Take an inhale breath. Exhale out. Inhale through the nose. Maybe you lift a little bit higher and a little bit farther. And then exhale, release. Take your palms next to your rib cage. Tuck your back toes under and make your way back to downward facing dog. On your inhale breath, reach your left leg towards the ceiling. And then on the exhale, take your left knee to your left elbow. Inhale, take it back. Or no, we're holding here just for a moment. So take an inhale breath here and an exhale out. Inhale, take it back. This time, the three-legged dog. And then as you exhale, take your left knee to your left elbow. Straighten that left leg. Rest the outer edge of the left foot on the floor. Roll down or drop your right heel down to the mat. And then lift your left arm up or your right arm up towards the ceiling for that falling star. Take a deep breath here. Feel the left side oblique start to fire up. Exhale out. One more breath, inhale. And then exhale, place the right palm down. Step back into three-legged dog. Inhale. And then as you exhale, step your left foot forward in between your hands, rise for high lunge position. So left, this time your left leg is forward, and then the arms come up overhead. Take a deep breath in through the nose, and then as you exhale, open up the elbows wide, make that goalpost shape. Sometimes people call it cactus. And then lift your chest up towards the ceiling. Inhale, breath. Exhale out. Inhale through the nose. And exhale out. Inhale through the nose. And then exhale, hands come back up. So we're coming back into eagle, excuse me. So we're gonna take all the way into our left foot and then step the right foot up for one-legged mountain pose. So our right leg is up right now. Take your left arm underneath your right elbow, like this, and then start to cross the right knee over the left. You can use the right foot as a kickstand, or if you'd like to go for the full wrap the right foot around the left calf. And then with the arms, you can have the outer or the backs of the hands touching one another like this, or you can fully wrap the left palm so that your fingers are touching your right palm. Left fingers are touching the right palm. Squeeze your thighs together, squeeze your arms together, broaden at the collarbones. Take a deep inhale breath and a deep exhale out. Inhale through the nose and then exhale out. Take your elbows in line with your shoulders. One more breath. And then exhale, release, and just fold forward. All the way down. So we're gonna move right into the next side, rather than just skip that vinyasa, just for the sake of time. On your inhale breath, sit your hips low. We're coming into chair pose. Inhale through the nose. Exhale out. Low belly towards the spine. Weight is in the heels. Inhale. And then exhale, fold forward. Inhale, come into that halfway lift. And then exhale, we're folding again, placing the palms on the mat, stepping back into high lunge and lowering all the way down. Untuck the back toes. Place the tops of the hands next to the thighs. Forehead down. Take an inhale breath. Exhale everything out. Inhale, lift everything up. Shalabhasana. Maybe you lift up a little bit higher this time. Deep breath in through the nose. And a deep breath out. Deep breath in. Roll your pinky toes down to the mat. Spin the inner thighs up towards the ceiling. Exhale. One more breath. Inhale. Exhale, release. Take your palms next to your ribs. And then tuck your back toes under. Make your way back to downward facing dog. On your inhale breath, reach your right leg up towards the ceiling. On the exhale breath, take your right knee to your right elbow. Take an inhale here. Exhale out. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale, take it back, three-legged dog. And then as you exhale, take your right knee to your left elbow, straighten the left leg, rest that outer edge of your right foot on the mat, drop your left heel down, left arm up towards the ceiling, falling star. Take an inhale breath, and an exhale out. Inhale through the nose. Exhale, plant your left palm down, and then step back into three-legged dog. Exhale, step your right foot forward in between your hands, high lunge, arms come up overhead. And then as you exhale, take your elbows down, goalpost arms. Lift your chest up towards the ceiling. Inhale. Exhale out. Inhale. Exhale, straighten the arms. And then as you inhale, we're going to shift our weight into our front foot, step up into one-legged mountain pose. Cross the right knee or left knee over the right. Use that left arm, or sorry, the left foot as a kickstand, or you can wrap it all the way around. And then take your right knee or right elbow under your left, find the bind with the arms. Inhale through the nose. Exhale out. Inhale through the nose. And exhale out. One last breath, inhale. And then exhale, just release and fold forward. Inhale, come up halfway. And exhale, fold again. Inhale, sit into chair pose. Sit the hips low, arms come up. Take a deep breath here. And a deep breath out. Hold the belly in, inhale breath. Weight is in the heels, and exhale. Take one more breath, inhale. And then exhale, forward fold. Inhale, come up halfway. Exhale, plant your hands and step back into plank position and lower all the way down to your belly. See if you can get that into one long exhale. And then take your palms, the top of your hands next to your thighs, untuck your back toes. Take an inhale breath with your forehead down. Exhale everything out. Inhale, lift, Shavasana. Deep breaths here, inhale. And exhale out. Inhale, breath. Roll your pinky toes down, inner thighs are spinning up. Exhale. One more breath, inhale. And then exhale, release. Take your palms next to the ribs. Tuck your back toes under. Press back into downward facing dog. Inhale, lift your left leg towards the sky. Exhale, take your left knee to your left elbow. Hold here. Take an inhale breath. And an exhale out. One more breath, inhale. Exhale. Inhale, take it all the way back, three-legged dog. And then as you exhale, take your left knee to your right elbow. Straighten the left leg. Place the left outer edge of the foot down on the floor. Drop your right heel. Reach your right arm up. Falling star. Inhale through the nose. And exhale out. Inhale through the nose. And then exhale, place your right palm down. Take your right knee back into your chest and then press it back into three-legged dog. And then as you exhale, take your left foot in between your hands, and we're rising for high lunge position. Take an inhale. And then as you exhale, goal post your arms, lift your chest up towards the ceiling. Maybe you look up. Broaden at the collarbones. Elbows are pulling down towards your ribs, the sides of your body. Take an inhale breath. And then as you exhale, straighten the arms, shift the weight to your left foot, step up into one-legged mountain pose. Right, so your right leg is lifted. Take your left arm, cross it underneath your right. Take your right leg and cross it over. Use that foot as a kickstand or fully wrap the right foot around the left calf. And then find that bind with your hands. Inhaling through the nose and exhaling out. Inhale through the nose. And then exhale, release and fold forward all the way down. Inhale, come up halfway. And then exhale, fold again. Inhale, chair pose. We're going to add on a little bit from here and offer some different variations. So sit your hips low, take an inhale breath in chair pose, and exhale out. Inhale, exhale. One more breath, inhale. And then exhale, fold forward. Inhale, come up halfway. And then exhale, plant your hands, step back into high plank position, and lower all the way down to your belly. Okay, so an option here, and you can continue to do Shavasana the way that we were just doing it with the arms down, or we're going to do the option here is to do a full Superman. So instead, we're gonna reach our arms forward. So right now, our palms are facing one another. And this is gonna be a full Superman Chaturanga. So forehead down on the mat, take an inhale breath. Exhale everything out. Inhale, lift everything. So arms are forward, reaching forward as far as they can. Toes are reaching as far back as they can. Neck is in line, or neck is straight, so your gaze is down on your mat rather than up and forward. Deep breaths here. Continue reaching in opposite directions. One more breath. Inhale. And then exhale, release. Palms come next to the rib cage. Tuck your back toes under. Make your way back to downward facing dog. Inhale, reach your right leg up towards the ceiling. And then exhale, take your right elbow to your right, or your right knee to your right elbow. This time, we're gonna slide our elbow down our arm to our wrist without placing the knee or the foot on the mat. And then slide it back up. And then exhale, three-legged dog. Take an inhale breath. And then exhale, take your right knee to your left elbow, straighten that left leg. We're coming into that falling star, so dropping the left heel down. Right, left arm goes up. Inhale, breath. And then exhale, this time option to lift that right foot up off of the ground. Take an inhale. Exhale here. One more breath, inhale. And then exhale, plant your left palm down, step back, three-legged dog. Inhale. And then exhale, step your right foot forward, find high lunge position. Arms come all the way up, take an inhale breath. And then as you exhale, goal post your arms, lift your chest high towards the ceiling. Inhale through the nose. And exhale out. Inhale, straighten the arms. Weight is in the front foot. We're stepping into that one-legged mountain pose. Cross the right arm underneath the left, and then the left knee crosses the right. And you kind of sit down into this squat here. You can use the left foot as a kickstand or take that bind all the way around. And then same with the arms. Inhale through the nose. Squeeze the thighs together, squeeze the elbows together. One more breath here. And then exhale, fold forward all the way down. Inhale, come up halfway. And then exhale, fold again. Inhale, sit into chariot pose. We're moving into the other side. Arms come up overhead. Sit low. Take your low belly towards your spine. Weight is in the heels. Take an inhale breath. And then exhale, fold forward. Inhale, rise up to halfway lift. And then exhale, plant your hands, step back into plank position, lowering all the way down. And then we're going to find that Superman again. So again, you can take that first variation of Chaturanga if you'd like with our arms here, or if you want a little extra challenge, we're going to do full Superman. So rest your forehead on the mat to start. Take an inhale breath. Exhale out. Inhale, lift everything up. So reach the arms forward, reach the toes backwards. Remember, we're thinking forward and back, and more than we're thinking lifting up. Gaze is down to the mat. Ears are closer to in line with the biceps. One more deep breath here. And then exhale, release. Palms come next to the ribs. Tuck the back toes under. Press back into downward facing dog. Inhale, reach your left leg towards the ceiling. Exhale, take your left knee to your left elbow. Inhale, drop it down, slide it down to your wrist without touching the floor, and then take it back to your elbow. And then step it back, three-legged dog. Exhale. And then we're taking our left knee to our right elbow. Straighten that left leg. Drop your right heel down. Reach your right arm up. Inhale, breath. Exhale, out. Option to lift that left leg. Inhale. And exhale. Inhale, breath. And then exhale, plant the right palm down. Step back into three-legged dog. And then exhale, step your left foot in between your palms. Rise for high lunge position. Take an inhale breath. And then exhale, goal post your arms. Lift the chest up, inhale, and exhale. Inhale, straighten the arms, start to tip forward, weight is in the left foot, and then step up into that one-legged mountain pose. So left arm crosses underneath the right, and then right leg crosses over the left. So use the foot as a kickstand or take the full wrap. Elbows are in line with the shoulders, and sit low. Deep breath here, and deep breath out. One more breath, inhale. And then exhale, fold all the way forward. Inhale, come up halfway. And then this time, oh, I forgot to do something. Okay, so we're gonna come up under our tippy toes. So we're sort of in this, we're in a halfway lift right now. So come up under your tippy toes, and then take your hands to prayer. Start to lower, we're staying on our toes, start to sit down low. And then we're basically sitting here, we're crouching and curling, and then take the knees straight. Woo! A little bit of balance there, a little bit of footwork. Take an inhale breath here. And then as you exhale, we're gonna slowly start to rise back up, keeping the balance on our tippy toes, and then we're going to lower it back down. Belly in tight. This is core work. This is leg work. One breath here. And then exhale, we're going to stand back up. So stay on your tippy toes. This is the last time we're going to do this. And then as you exhale, follow that balance. As you exhale, we're sitting all the way back down. Pull the low belly in. And then this time, we're just gonna sit right back and come right into boat pose. So a couple options for boat. You can have your toes down with your hands behind you. And we're just trying to keep as straight of a back as possible. So pulling the chest forward and through, pulling the low belly towards the spine. You can opt to lift the knees, release the arms, straighten the legs. Totally up to you. I'm going to keep right here. So we're in low boat and we're holding for 5 breaths. Inhale, 1. Exhale, pull the chest through, pull your belly towards your spine. Exhale. Inhale, 2. Exhale. Inhale, 3. Exhale out. Inhale, 4. And exhale. Inhale, 5. Last breath. And then as you exhale, we're just lowering halfway. So half boat, extend your legs straight, arms are straight forward. You are only resting on your sacrum here. So pull your belly in, keep your shoulders off of the mat. We're holding for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and release. Arms come up overhead. And we're just reaching. Ooh, we're reaching in opposite directions here. So nice, good morning stretch. Maybe you point the toes, flex the feet, and make as much length and space as that you can create in the body. Inhaling deeply through the nose and out. And then, like you're one of those hot dogs and those gas station rotators, you're gonna roll onto your belly. So you may need to adjust so that you're back on your mat. So we're gonna come into Sphinx pose. So your elbows, we're on our forearms, and your elbows are in line with your shoulders. So our shoulders and our elbows are right in line with one another, and then we're making the number 11 with our hands. Our legs should be straight, with our heels facing straight up, and our feet are slightly apart, so about hips width distance apart. With our so our heels should be in line with our front hip bones. And then you're going to press into your pubic bone press your pubic bone into the mat. Take your tailbone down towards your heels and squeeze your glutes together. And then you're dragging, energetically drag your palms and your forearms towards your rib cage to pull your chest through your arms, through your shoulders. Broaden up the collarbones. Take your shoulder blades down your back. And then your chin should be right, like your ears should be right in line with your shoulders. No looking up, no looking down. So just straight neck. Take a deep breath here. And a deep breath out. Deep breath in. And deep breath out. You can stay here, or option to straighten the arms for seal pose. So this is a little bit of a deeper back bend, but feels pretty good after all that core work. So it's totally up to you. You can stay here in Sphinx or straighten the arms for seal. Deep breath in and deep breath out. Deep breath in and then exhale, release. Straighten the arms out in front of you and rest your forehead on the mat. Bend the knees and take your heels up, and then just start to windshield wiper your legs back and forth. Deep breath here. Deep breath out. And then go ahead and straighten the legs, and then we're going to roll back onto our back once again like a hot dog on those gas station things. And then you may need to adjust so that you're back on your mat. Grab a pillow. And yeah, so grab a pillow. I'm grabbing my block because I know exactly where I'm going to go with this, but you want to have a pretty firm pillow here. And then place the soles of your feet flat on the mat, about hips width distance apart. Scoot your tailbone down the mat so that you're closer to your heels, and you can reach down with your hands and raise your heels with your fingertips. Grab your pillow in your hand, lift your hips up, and place the pillow right on your sacrum. So it should be on the bony part right above your tailbone. So we're in supported bridge position. Okay, so we're going to straighten the right leg and rest the right heel on the mat. You should already start to feel a little bit of stretch in your right hip flexor here. And if it's really intense, I encourage you to just stay here and don't go anywhere else. If you want more, draw your right knee into your chest. Grab your left knee. So the goal here is to stretch, in this position, is to stretch that right hip flexor, is to open up that right hip, because we did a lot of work in that low belly, that core. So our hip flexors are probably feeling it. We don't think as much about the compression in the left side. I want you to think about the opening in the right side. So we're drawing our left knee towards our chest. If this is good, if you're feeling like this is really tense, I don't want to stay any further, or I don't want to go any further, stay here. If you want more, draw your left knee towards your left armpit. And you really start to feel that opening in the right hip flexor. So our left knee is opening to the side. And the goal here also, we really want to keep that right leg extended. Our right foot is flexed, and we're extending through the right heel. So the more that you sort of like push your right heel forward and extend straight, the more that you should feel in that right hip flexor. Deep breath here. And deep breath out. Inhaling through the nose. And then exhaling, we're going to release, bend the right leg, place the right foot flat on the mat, and then release that left foot if you have it. Straighten the left leg and rest that left heel on the mat. So again, we want a really, really engaged left leg. We're reaching towards the front of the mat with our left heel. If this is enough for you, stay here. If you want a little bit more, start to draw that right knee up. And really continue to extend straight through the left heel. That's like where you start to feel this. You should feel a little bit in the top of the quad and the hip flexor. So you can stay here or open up the right knee towards your right armpit. Deep breaths. Inhaling through the nose and exhaling out. Inhale through the nose and exhale. Take one more breath here.
And then as you exhale, bend the left knee, place the left foot flat on the mat, right foot back down if you have it lifted. And then just settle here for just a moment. Take your feet wide. So toe heel your feet out towards the outer edge of your mat and drop your knees together. Let's take a deep breath together in through the nose and then out the mouth. Walk your feet back in. This time take the soles of your feet together. Open up your knees wide like a butterfly. Take an inhale breath through the nose. Deep, deep breath, the biggest one that you can. And then a big exhale out the mouth. Draw your knees back together. Soles of the feet back on the mat. Lift your hips and remove the pillow out of the way. Very, very slowly drop your sacrum all the way back down. Just be here just for a moment. Take your arms wide like a T or like goalpost. And then two options. You can either just drop your knees over to the left as such, or you can cross your right knee over your left and then drop them to the left that way. So that's a little bit of a deeper variation. If your right shoulder comes off of the mat when you're in this twist, place a pillow underneath your knees. And take deep breaths here. Take one more breath. And then as you exhale, knees come back to center. Uncross your legs if they're crossed. Take a deep breath in through the nose. And a deep breath out the mouth. Start to drop your knees over to the right or cross your left leg over and drop them to the right. If your left shoulder is lifting off of the mat, place that pillow underneath your knees. And take deep breaths here in this twist. One more breath. And then as you exhale, draw your knees back into center. Pull them into towards your chest and wrap your arms around your thighs. Make some circles with the knees to massage the sacrum and the low back. Reverse the direction of the circles. And then extend your legs straight out in front. So drop your heels on the mat. Let your outer edges of your feet drop down towards the floor. Take your arms out by your sides next to you, palms facing up. Press into the back of the head to lift the shoulder blades up and then pull them together and tuck them underneath you. And then same thing with your hips or with your sacrum. So lift your hips up and pull your tailbone towards your heel so that you can rest more on the sacrum. Close your eyes. And then let go of any breath control that you have. So find your natural breathing here. Unclench your jaw. Remove the crease from your brow and your forehead. Your lips are slightly parted and your tongue is removed from the roof of your mouth. And just do a quick scan of the body to notice if there's any places that you're tensed up or you're gripping. And just release those and relax into that part of the body. So the goal with this pose is to be fully relaxed, letting gravity do its work, letting the mat and the ground support you.
and enjoying all of the benefits of this yoga practice. I encourage you to stay here for a while, maybe 5 minutes or so. And enjoy the rest of this relaxation pose. Thank you for joining me. I'm going to mute the video and block my camera so the camera will still roll, and just stay here as long as possible and enjoy this. Thank you guys.